Give this man a high five.
I fucking love you. I fucking love all of you. Especially you, Ryan.
How about I just sit here?
To get one on your lap? What the fuck is happening?
You go there, I'll stay here.
No. Let's figure this shit out.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. No, okay. Well, maybe that one works.
That doesn't work?
That would be good. Because I'm not loud enough.
Do we need mics?
Fuck that!
Hello, welcome to Texas Frightmare, brought to you by Arrow Video. Arrow, who is bringing us cool stuff on a regular basis. I am the host of this lovely panel, Ryan Turek from Blumhouse Productions and Shockwaves Podcast. When I said, hey, you want to do the Felissa panel, I said, sure, I love just hanging out with friends and shooting the shit. So this is going to be really easy, and it's like taking a peek inside of a Ryan and Felissa hangout session.
Yeah. But when we go out to dinner and drinks.
Yeah. Felissa, you're having a moment again. Another moment. And I think it's because of Joe Bob Briggs.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Joe Bob Briggs, let's give it up for him.
Yeah.
How many of you are Shudder subscribers? Who's watching Shudder? That's
fucking Shudder. Let's fucking applaud Shudder.
Yeah. Shudder has brought the Joe Bob Briggs resurgence. If you don't know Joe Bob, he was on Monster Vision on TNT, and I grew up watching him. And now they brought him back, and he's doing some great work, and he brings you on regularly to talk about mangled dicks.
Who would have thought?
No, Sleepaway Camp was during like that second wave he had done, right? Yeah. And have you met him before?
I did, yeah. We got fucked up at a couple of conventions together, and that's what we talked about. He's like, the first interview we did, he said, let's be yourself. Let's talk about all the cocktails you like to have at conventions and everybody you make out with. And I was like, all right, sounds perfect. Little did I know everyone was going to watch it.
Yeah, it's great. I think that your inclusion is fantastic, and I think that they just need to amp it up a little bit more by not just having like a little photograph of you on there. I think they should cut to you on Skype or something so we get like real-time Felissa.
Did you hear that, Joe Bob? Where is it?
Shudder execs. I'm just giving you stuff from Blumhouse.
Thank you.
So let's start what's going on recently. Now there's a documentary called Angela. Can you talk a little bit about that? What is that?
Who the fuck knows? No, I think, it's like Shout Factory put out that beautiful Blu-ray.
Yes.
And we sort of, touched on a little bit of a doc there, Meet Me at the Waterfront. And I didn't feel it was really fully inclusive of all the craziness and all of the stories. I mean, and there are 4 films. The first, the second, the third, Return. So why not make a full-length, like 4-hour doc, including all of the actors, including Pamela Springsteen, where we really learn about what happened on the set and why, Angela was who she was and how it all began, and just kind of like get in depth with it.
And it's being kickstarted or crowdfunded?
It is. It's a Kickstarter. Mikey Perez, who we all know and love, he is the director and producer, and I came on board, and every single actor is involved. So thank you for asking.
Yeah, and I think it needs your help. So go to whatever it is, Kickstarter, and give it some love.
Follow over Twitter.
Because honestly, this is how these labors of love get made. I mean, I had done that Scream documentary way back, and I went out of pocket for it. I should have just kickstarted it.
I know. And you know what? Even if we don't make any money, we're like, let's just do it in my house, and hang out and talk.
Yeah. Well, I think we're truly living in a great time for horror fandom. I mean, anything you ever want is there. Don't cry. That has nothing to do with that.
That is the truth.
I have nothing to do with
yes,
that.
You do.
No, we're living in a great time of horror fandom because if there's anything you want, it's there. Like you can go, oh, I really want a Pennywise coaster for my beer. There's a Pennywise coaster out in the lobby, actually. There's like all this stuff is getting made.
If you want my dick. Did you see me wearing it?
No.
Okay, so there's a strap-on dick. Did anybody see my dick?
Well, we did when we did Slashback Video 2 years ago. Someone had created an art piece that was like a little standee of Angela, and then you flick the light on and off.
Yeah, you can turn me on and off.
But it is a fantastic time, and it's conventions like this that are pulling horror fans together to remember a lot of the classics. And I had done the Reanimator panel. I'll ask you the same thing. The Sleepaway Camp series has survived decades now. I mean, and obviously it's, people talk about that ending, obviously, and I'm sorry if you haven't seen Sleepaway Camp, but there are spoilers to follow. But you know, there's a shocking ending, but I think the series lives beyond that. You know, there's a lot of great characters. There's I think Sleepaway Camp is fucking hilarious. But what do you think it is that survived this? Yeah.
Okay, I have a few ideas. So, who hasn't seen it? That's a question. Who has not seen Sleepaway Camp?
What is Sleepaway Camp?
Okay. I love you.
It's like wearing this shirt.
I know. He's awesome. So, I think, you know, Sleepaway Camp is hilarious, let's be honest. We all talk like this. There's way too many close-ups of Ronnie's balls.
What's his face with the half-cut shirt doing shoulder lifts and shoulder presses in the background.
But truthfully, what I really think, and I know I see so many familiar faces, I feel like with Sleepaway Camp, Angela is a little piece of all of us. I know I can say we've all felt in a way maybe as an outsider or picked on or insecure at a time in our life, and we all want to fucking kill those motherfuckers. So I think it resonates because we all kind of see how fragile she is. I mean, do you agree? Like, isn't there something about Angela that we all kind of connect with? And so I think after 108 years that I've been, you know, promoting this movie, we can agree that Angela is, you know, is a part of all of us. So I thank you so much. I hope everyone knows how grateful I am. I feel so thankful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well said. Well said. What kind of kid were you growing up? I mean, at that age that you were doing Sleepaway Camp, what kind of were you picked on and a little bit shy, or I can't imagine you were.
I was outgoing, but I was very insecure, and I think especially like trying to be an actress at like 13. You know, I was scared. You know, you're a teenager, preteen, hormonal, all those crazy things like acne, and girls were picking on me because I did Sleepaway Camp. They said, let's throw gum in her hair because she'll probably think she's hot shit since she made a movie. And then other girls picked on those girls, and it was fun. But yeah, I think, you know, we're all insecure and shy, and especially as teenagers. I have two young girls who are 12 and 14, and I'm trying to help them navigate and kick everybody's ass if they say anything nasty to them. It's very anti-bullying. And it's not just with kids. It's with adults to adults. It's teachers to children. It's all kinds of bullying, and we need to fucking stop it and be kind to each other.
Social media does not make that easy.
Oh my God, that's such bullshit. I mean, it's like so crazy.
It just gives you more of an outlet to do that, you know, unnecessary behavior.
I know.
Imagine Sleepaway Camp in 2019. What would that be like?
I don't know, what do you think?
I don't know. There's been talks, hasn't there?
A lot. There's been some. Do you guys? Okay, applaud if you think it should be remade.
The Texas Frightmare execs have spoken.
Shit.
All right, wait.
Okay, I have a better one. A prequel to learn about the entire story behind it. All right.
So that moment, like after the accident, and then before we pick up before.
Who's Aunt Martha? Aunt Martha. I think it should be called Who the Fuck is Aunt Martha? I play the part.
Yeah. The movie will just be her name. That's the title.
And it's me like.
when did the kind of sleepaway camp fandom truly kick in for you? When did you start recognizing, holy shit, there's a movement here?
It was in 2000. It was
Really?
like the internet.
What happened? Really?
It was last week.
Caught on real fast.
It's right now. No, it was like all of these websites came out and people were like, it was a slow thing because it's like, I like Sleepaway Camp. You like Sleepaway Camp? I kind of like Sleepaway Camp. And then Fangoria did Weekend of Horrors in New York in 2001. And we had a reunion, the whole cast and Robert Hiltzik, the writer-director, and we came right after Friday the 13th to standing room only, and we were like, what the fuck? And we signed for like 5 hours, and we were shocked. And we still are. I think every person who comes to my table is like, why is she crying? Because I'm like, I love you, and I'm still shocked that anyone would remember this movie. I mean, I was 13, you know, so thank you. Like, I can't say that.
If you had to go back to your 13-year-old self and say, hey, in 2019, this is going to be a thing, how would you prepare your 13-year-old self for that?
Like, just really enjoy it and try to stay in the moment. And like, I hope each of you know, like, I try to hug you and look into your eyes and say thank you and be present, being present. I think hopefully that's a good rule just in life, like, be right here. Like right now, this is so fun with you and everybody here, and we only have this moment. So this is magnificent and magical, and thank you, you know? Thank you. So cool.
You're the best. You're the best. Well, when you were, what was the one? I mean, like, I'm sure there's countless stories you can talk about from Sleepaway Camp. But what was the singular thing that you took away from that experience? Once principal photography was done, or were you just like, as a 13-year-old, were you just caught up in the storm of production? Was there any single takeaway at all? Nothing.
I was just best friends with everyone. So John Dunn, who played Kenny, hey Bob Rebob, his parents were getting divorced, so he sort of almost moved into my house, and my parents took him in like he was a brother, and Jonathan Tiersten and I would make out every other week, and Kathy Kami and Karen Fields were like sisters, so we really had a great, connection to each other, and we felt like family, like most films. And now we do conventions together. We'll be at, nice little plug, Retro Invasion in Cleveland, Ohio, May 31st. So myself, Jonathan Tiersten, and Kathy Kami. M-E-G. I love her.
Do you remember day one? Day one of, what was that like? Wait, what scene was it? Do you remember?
Okay, it was the opening scene with Aunt Martha.
Oh God.
So Jonathan Tiersten, he's hilarious. He's so much fun because he tells the story like, oh my God, she started saying her lines and I was like, where's the exit? Somebody get me the hell out of here. She's fucking batshit crazy. Somebody get us out of here. And I remember thinking, I look like shit. Because I wanted, you're 13, I wanted to wear a little bit of makeup, and they were like, flatten her hair, no makeup, and I was like, that's gross. What's this? Stand up. And I looked like this.
Wait, you just said I look like shit.
I was wearing, you look amazing, but I was wearing the little Camp Arawak t-shirt and the red shorts, and for a little 13-year-old, I had a little bra that they made. I didn't have real boobs, but they like flattened whatever I had out so it looked like absolutely nothing. So I can't play it now. I grew up.
Yes, you did. No. Where was the camp at?
It was upstate New York. It was like Glens Falls, like Albany area.
Yeah. Had you gone to a summer camp before? Or did you have that experience at all?
No.
Does anybody send anybody to summer camp anymore? Do you guys have kids out there? Nobody has kids. You do. Oh, you send their kids to summer camp?
No one has kids anymore. That was a thing in the 80s.
Everybody's like, fuck that, I'm buying horror stuff. I love that. I love
That's fucking hilarious.
Kids.
What's that?
I know.
You have one, I have three.
Yeah. What, take me into the headspace when Sleepaway Camp 2, when did you first hear about the notion of a sequel?
So, I went back to high school and I was just kind of like doing theater. I really loved musical theater. I can't sing for shit, everybody knows, because I try to do karaoke and I'm like...
Let's hit the pause button on that for a second. So,
oh my God.
In high school, drama class, theater class, with Felissa Rose,
Yeah.
the star of Sleepaway Camp. What did you just...
Yeah, with Idina Menzel, who was my 2 years younger and one of my best friends.
Oh, wow.
And so we would do Pirates of the Penzance, and she would play Mabel, and I was her father, the pirate king. I am the very model of the modern Major General, like information vegetarian. They were like, she can't sing.
What was it? I mean, like, in meeting your theater teacher, I mean, like, had he seen the movie, or she, had he seen the movie?
No. They were like, she did what? But I was in Forensics, which was a very serious club in New York. It's the Drama, Speech, and Debate Club. And I never talk about this, but it was so fun. It really, to me, it gave me so much great insight into becoming an actor. And I actually lost all the time. I would come home and cry, and I was like, I can't do this, I suck. And my parents were like, just keep telling yourself you can. And so, like years, it took me until I was a junior in high school, and then I won the New York State Championship. That was like my big claim to fame. I was so happy. And Idina was like, I want to be in forensics. And I was like, my one little space, you had to fucking move it on.
Well, it sounds like your folks were very encouraging and supportive of your career.
Yeah. They were amazing. I mean, my mom is still around and still the stage mother. Go do that. I saw somebody on Instagram who said they couldn't get into the party last night. Help her. And I kid you not, Sarah Church, who I love, she's like, Sarah can't get into the party. I'm like, Ma, I didn't go to the party. And I would do anything for Sarah. And yeah. Wow. And truthfully, and then my dad died when I was 20. So what that did was I tried to see the silver lining. He lived life really happily and joyfully every single day. So the only thing I could take from it was to say, I'm gonna live every day really happily.
That's great. All right, we were talking the way we would. Yeah, so you can clap. That's great. I love very inspirational Q&As as opposed to, boy, it was a terrible experience. You were talking about Sleepaway Camp and the first time you had heard about it. You were in high school, at Sleepaway Camp 2, I mean.
Oh, yeah, so then I decided, like, okay, I don't know about this acting thing, we'll see, but maybe I just wanted to go to college. So I applied early admission to one college, and then I got the call from the manager that I had when I was still 13. So they're doing some sequels. They'd like to meet with you. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm like 16 years old and I go to Michael Simpson's apartment in Manhattan and I start reading the script and I sucked because she's funny. So Angela's now written in this very comedic way. And I only knew Angela to be like sweet and shy and hurt and vulnerable. So to me it was like, I can't pull this shit off. I'm gonna go to college. He's like, and I'm best friends with Pam Springsteen. We're gonna go cast her. You go to college. High five, see you soon. And then
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you done something comedic since then that I'm not aware of? Have you explored those comedic chops at all?
Well, I don't know, Victor Crowley maybe.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Crowley, yeah.
Right?
Sure, yeah.
Kathleen, you know? Has anybody seen Hatchet 4?
Yes.
Okay, so Kathleen was my big entree into, I think, a character that's over the top, or although Adam wrote it for me, and so I don't know, maybe that's like my personality. I've got heaviest stuff if you need it.
You're working with a lot of new filmmakers and indie filmmakers today. You know, what before you enter into a project, what do you look for, like, and both on the page and in terms of talent?
I mean, I just always want to work with people I really like who inspire me. It's always about, like, is this a good team? Does this feel good? Like, I try to listen to my gut and my heart. In fact, I start a project Monday, so with Thomas Churchill.
Can you talk about it?
I can. We're not allowed to say the name.
Untitled Felissa Rose project.
There's a little bit of camp involved. You didn't hear that from me. And it's Jaws meets Friday the 13th. So it's creature feature in camp. Slasher. And I get to play a really cool part. I'm like a park ranger chick. love interest. I'm never the love interest. I'm always like,
what's up with that?
I have never made out with anybody. I'm like, why can't I kiss people? They're like,
Is that why you're supplementing it in real life?
In real life. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just make out with people off screen. No. My husband would love this.
Before your husband. Before.
Way before.
Yeah, way before.
Yes.
Well, I look forward to the grizzly bear wearing a slasher mask. Horror movie that you're doing. I'm all for that.
Thank you.
While I'm talking, I'm going to go out to the audience for some questions. So if you have anything, raise a hand. What beyond that? I'm curious. You're so good at these conventions, and you come back time and time again. What is it about the fandom? What is it about these conventions that are just joy? I mean, you're a very excitable and fun person to be around. How do you, I can imagine that's exhausting sometimes, but where do you get this reservoir of energy and fun?
It's every single face that's sitting right here. Yeah. It's like every single one of you gives me like some light and some joy and because it goes beyond like I'm a horror fan, and it goes beyond that. It comes down to like the human. Yeah. I know I'm getting all like sappy, and I mean that's my true nature. Is like I'm gonna start to cry. I just think that it's important on this journey to really connect, and we don't take away shit, stuff, cars, houses. But we will take away, I laughed with that person, or I ate a great meal with that person, or I partied with that friend. So I'm always thinking about like the bigger, greaterness of all, from the movie to the connection to all of us together.
There are other actors and actresses that you meet on the convention circuit. Who has become your close friend that you may not have shared the screen with?
Well, I love Barbara Crampton. Amanda Wiss is a really close friend, and Lisa Wilcox. Tiffany Shepis, my bestie. So many. Every single lady you see, PJ Souls. I mean, come on. Oh, yes, applaud that magnificent woman. Talk about down-to-earth, genuine, humble love bug. Like, I think when I hug her, I just wanna, crawl. She's just so. That sounded weird, but.
Basically, she's a tauntaun and you're Luke Skywalker. Hi, PJ.
Exactly.
You're nice and warm. This just got weird. Any questions from the audience? Right here, sir.
I literally just thought of a question so you could notice me without me having to stand in line. So you got to college, you went through the college thing, we heard about that. So did you have to get like a lame ass job like the rest of us?
Oh, cool. A lame ass job. I worked in a dental office. I worked in a law firm as the receptionist. I always sucked. Because I worked, a lot of like reception jobs. And then I started my own business that was like a temporary permanent agency for artists in New York. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna start this company so that I could give like jobs to artists, whether they're actors, musicians, what have you, work while they're, in between gigs. And I sucked at that. So it's just like me trying to find my way always. And I always say like 20s I partied hard, 30s I had my babies, and 40s I got more serious about my career. That's like kind of my layout, I think.
That's interesting. That's the same thing that sounds like to Barbara Crampton as well, because Barbara had done a lot of work, and then she kind of stepped back from that for a bit to have a family, and now she's come back with a lot of work.
And she's my inspiration. Barbara did, I have to just say this, she'll I don't think she'll mind, but like she sent me an email last week, and it was just, an email to say, I just want you to know I think you're amazing, and I adore you, and I love you, and we sisters have to stick together. And when one of us does well, we all do well. Holy shit. So I sobbed for like 2 hours, read it to my husband like 35 times, and then I responded in kind, like, I just fucking worship you.
I think it was a question, right? Yeah. Yep, you with the scissors.
Okay, so in the first Sleepaway camp, you're like 13 years old, correct?
Yeah.
And in the part with you in the freezer with the chef, how did you mentally prepare that for that part?
You know, thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for the questions. People bring that up often, and it's so weird because, yeah, a 13-year-old girl is with this pedophile in the whatever it was, the freezer. What the fuck was that? Where were my parents? It was 1982. And I used to think, oh, because they only shot me and then they shot him. No. They shot the full thing, the two of us together. It wasn't weird because during filmmaking, you just shoot like, oh, you say your line, and then you joke in between and laugh. And Owen Hughes, who played the chef, was the sweetest, most lovable person. So, and often that's what happens. The crazy people are the nicest. So
They're channeling something deep inside.
So it wasn't weird, but it should have been.
You know, you remind me. I mean, like that scene is deeply unpleasant, uncomfortable. I mean, like, do you think Sleepaway Camp can be like as it was? Do you think that movie can be made today and play on like 3,000 screens?
Where we come from, they call them baldies.
I actually had to rewind my tape when I first saw it. I was like, wait a minute, did he just say that?
I love that you just said I have to rewind my tape. That's good.
Please,
We're 111.
Any other quick right here?
You were so great as Susan in Family Possessions.
Oh.
Yeah, very funny and very great as Kathleen in Crowley. So I wondered two things. Do you want to do a lot more comedies? And also, do you really appreciate Ronnie cosplayers for who, you know, when they come to see you?
I'm obsessed with all Ronnie cosplayers. And I did do a film called Garlic and Gunpowder where I play a 350-pound mob boss with a cigar. And I talk like this. So that was fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Post Sleepaway Camp, what's been your most favorite experience on a set?
You know, that's so hard because they're all like babies to you, you know, but I loved Camp Dread because that was sort of like a first camp movie outside of a lot of stuff. I love Victor Crowley. He's definitely like top to me. I loved Satan's Playground. A few of you have mentioned that with Dante Tomaselli.
Oh my God, we
Ellen
did that
Sandler.
Fangoria panel when it came out.
Yes!
That's probably when we first met. Wow. I forgot about that.
Has anyone even fucking heard of Satan's Playground? Thank you to the lady in the back. Thank you. But yeah, I'd say Victor Crowley was like the big thing for me. Yeah, thank you.
Any other question? Right here, sir.
I love you, first of all.
I love you. Thank you.
Were you a Slayer fan before you got involved with their camp?
I was a huge Slayer fan, so that was crazy. Like when they called me into the nuclear blast office and said, hey, so we want to talk to you. They didn't have New York accents. Hey, we want to talk to you about producing the Slayer videos off their Repentless album. What do you think? They were interviewing people, and I said, I think they should really be horror movies. And I think we should get all our friends together, like Derek Mears and Tyler Main and Danny Trejo, Tony Moran. They were like, yeah, like you could get those people. And I said, well, they're my friends. They're not. I mean, I'm fans of them. It was like me at a convention going, hi, hey, would you like to be in a Slayer video? And that's how it happened. It was like we just got to, you know, get all of our friends together, and BJ McDonald fucking kicked its ass, blew it out of the water. I don't know if anybody's seen the Repentless videos, but we made 3. Oh my God, look at all the horns coming up. Thank you.
BJ is kind of a secret weapon in the industry. He's a Steadicam operator, but he also did Hatchet 3. But you know, a lot of the major films that you see, he is the guy behind the camera, doing those crazy camera moves.
And he should, and he's an amazing director.
Yes, yeah.
I think Blumhouse should say it.
I'm always looking. How many did you do? How many Slayer?
We did 3.
3.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was crazy.
That's cool.
Because they were like films. They took everything out of us. I mean, they went on and on and on for months, like, because BJ is a perfectionist.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, that area looks great, let's film over there. And he's like, no, we will scout for a month and a half. And I'm like, no, we'll shoot it right over here.
Very ambitious.
Yeah, it's great.
If you don't mind getting personal, I'm curious to hear how you met your husband, because he was like a super fan before you guys got together.
Yeah, it's crazy because, so my husband's name is Darren Miller. He was in a band called CKY. And CKY. And he saw Sleepaway Camp at 12 years old. Do you know this story?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. And he, so with the guys, the CKY guys, Jackass guys, he went on the first episode of Jackass. It wasn't for him. He's like, after the first episode, I was like, fuck off. He put the Angela face on his t-shirt on that first episode, and I saw it, and I was like, who the fuck is wearing my face? Shocking. And then he started like emailing me through the website, through sleepawaycampmovies.com, and he's like, I just want to meet you, I just want to meet you. Finally, when we filmed Return to Sleepaway Camp in 2003, Robert Hiltzik said, get those guys here. You know those CKY guys. I said, I don't know, maybe. Hey, to the manager, could they maybe come? They were on the red eye. He was at my cabin the next day, got on his hands and knees, said, will you marry me? Moved to LA. I bought a house. Let's have babies. And then we got our ring fingers tattooed. Fucking almost 17 years later.
Listen.
I don't do things small.
Clearly.
I've been in 4 years, I had 3 kids. So.
Oh, God. I think there was somebody over here that had a question that I might have missed. Over here? No. Right here.
Have your kids seen Sleepaway Camp? What do they think?
They have seen Sleepaway Camp. They were like, what's all this shit about you going to convention and you got a dick? And my husband was like, oh, I'm gonna show you. And one day I was seriously in the kitchen and the 3 of them are on the couch with him and he's like, look at this. And they were watching it and they love it and they're huge horror fans, so
they all came out
love
saying,
you. You're like a hero in the house. Because, okay, my husband has seen Halloween, I'm not kidding, 75 times. Like,
John Carpenter.
He always wants to talk to you. He's like, I'm obsessed, Felissa. I'm like, I know.
Oh, you have your kid that likes wearing Michael Myers masks.
Yeah. Oh my God, my son is always he has like 15 masks.
Yeah. Godzilla, was there a Godzilla?
He's also Godzilla all the time. Yeah. He's got great taste.
What, you know, you've been to all these cons, you met all these fans. What is the weirdest, oddest thing that's ever been presented to you that was Sleepaway Camp themed?
I mean, it's Sleepaway Camp, so it's always about my dick.
Yeah.
Anybody get super creative, not dick-like?
I mean, I've had beautiful dolls made, extraordinary artwork, like beautiful, you know, all kinds of art that I'm just amazed by and honored that someone would take their incredible talent and make that. Yeah, it's just bags, socks, hats, you name it. One day I should just like put it all on, take it.
Plus the dick, right?
And my dick.
Yeah.
Crotch socks. Yeah. And you've produced, you've acted, have you ever written? Have you ever wanted to explore writing?
Unfortunately, God, I'm a shitty writer. I'm as good a writer as I am a singer. And there was this movie, Camp Twilight, last year that we filmed in Florida. Exactly, I was there in Florida 1 year ago right now. And the writer had this kind of script that had some holes, and they asked me to kind of jump in there. Such a bad idea. And I did, because it was teenagers. So I'm all, hey, want to go to the park? They're like, what kind of fucking thing? You want to be like, yo, I'm lit, and she's extra. And I'm like, oh, my writing sucks. So, can't write for teenagers for shit. But yeah, I did anyway. So.
What about directing?
Never. I won't do something that I know I fucking suck at. You know what I mean? Like, I know my lane.
But you're such a great communicator. That's the thing. I mean, like, you communicate so well, and that's such a major part of being a filmmaker is communicating. You've been on the other side. You've been an actor, so it's like you can.
Thank you. I don't know about that. I love producing because it's that. you know, putting the pieces together. But I don't know, directing seems really like a place I'm kind of not sure about. Yeah, we'll see. We'll talk.
Yeah.
New Blumhouse movie directed by Felissa Rose. Thank you. And
Definitely not going to be a Sleepaway Camp remake.
perhaps the prequel.
What about a sequel? Question in the back.
Hi, I'm Jesse, a big fan. I love your personality. I love your enthusiasm. I had a question of, if you imagine Angela as an adult, what do you think? How would you describe her? What do you think she might have turned out to be like?
Good question.
That's an amazing
Angela
question.
as an adult.
You know what? I would hope that she grew up happily like I have, embracing who she is and not giving a shit about anything and no judgment, and just sort of takes on life and kind of maneuver. She got through all of the crap that she went through, and so she's in a really good place.
As a trans guy, I appreciate that answer. I think that's very...
And I love you. Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you so much.
Right up front.
So I think that's a great answer. I do. I think it's very sweet. But does she fully transition?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I was wondering. Thank
Fully
you.
transition.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Any Sleepaway Camp related events coming up besides the Angela doc? Is there anything else coming up that fans should be aware of?
I mean, just that we're doing the cons, you know, a whole bunch of us, the doc, and I don't know, there's a couple of other things. I'll be making 2 big announcements, one probably in the next like 2 to 3 weeks, and hopefully another, do you know about the other?
I don't.
You don't? In the next month or so. So I hope that you enjoy it, because what I hope to infuse into these projects, because they're less, not to be so cryptic and weird, they're less like, they're not film, but they're more about me, and what I'd like to do is give back and sort of have a project that shows a lot of gratitude. So, but still in the horror genre.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you're a horror fan, so I mean, and you see a lot of stuff. What's gotten you excited about the genre? What films have
Oh my
really
God, I just
resonated?
Oh, well, first of all, thank you. I mean, it's huge right now. I'm obsessed with Halloween. Let's give Ryan like a huge round of applause.
You're like,
Let me say that.
oh, I mean, like, I get
That's
very
tremendous.
nervous.
That's tremendous. Girl on the Third Floor.
Oh,
I'm really
God,
happy.
yeah.
That's fucking amazing.
This is a film by Travis Stevens that was a Tribeca, Girl on the Third Floor. It is, it's very disturbing.
Yes, very
Something,
disturbing.
something.
And just a beautiful cast as well. And Alyssa Dowling, who's
Yes.
a friend of ours. So proud of her. She's magnificent. A lot of indie stuff. I'm a home invasion movie kind of a girl.
Really?
Is that weird?
Yeah.
I'm like The Strangers just knocks my socks off.
yes,
I
yes.
am like madly in love with those movies, like crazy.
Did you like the second one?
Yes, love. And Damien Maffei is a friend of mine from New York.
Yeah.
We did a movie called Nikos the Impaler on Long Island together like 20 years ago.
I remember that too.
That,
It's a long
that
time
was
ago.
Ted.
Yeah.
Ted Gogan.
Oh.
That
you're
was
still
his first
here.
movie.
Yes.
Yes.
That's right.
It's such a small community, you know, everybody's like involved with, so it's such
Yeah.
twist.
Maybe East Coast horror scene or West Coast horror scene?
Oh, God.
East Coast.
I'm East Coast girl. East Coast, man, you know?
Before we wrap up, any other questions? Right there.
You kind of alluded to this earlier with the sequel bit. Like, how did you feel about with the sequel, like, kind of the direction that they took Angela? I feel like with the first one, Angela was kind of killing off people that were personally mean to her, whereas the sequel it was more like, you know, everybody who fornicated got killed. How did you kind of feel about that as somebody who kind of created and helped create that character, how they took that direction?
I mean, I feel like it was a sign of the times. It was the late 80s, and we were seeing, all of a sudden, it was all about comedy, right? We were seeing a lot of comedy and horror together. So I think she was wonderful, and the films were terrific. For that, again, that time period, it was like perfect. So, and then Return came, and it had a lot more tone and kind of story like the original. So, yeah, I think they all kind of, you know, meld together really well. And I wish we could all talk to Pamela Springsteen. So that's my goal. I really wanted to call the doc Looking for Pam Springsteen. Right? Or the guy with the dick.
Maybe you guys know this, or maybe you know this. We actually did our Shockwaves panel this morning, and we talked about our favorite VHS covers, and Rob G's was Sleepaway Camp 2.
I love Rob G.
He's great. He's the greatest. But he didn't know. None of us know who's the woman on the cover of the Sleepaway Camp 2 VHS.
She's hot as shit.
Does anybody know? Is anybody? Because it's definitely not the protagonist. It's definitely not Pamela. Yeah, she's out there somewhere. One more question. Time for one more question. Nothing right here.
So, as a 13-year-old, how did you feel when you heard that you were going to have to wear a strap-on?
Prosthetic.
Well, I never wore the strap-on until yesterday. But they talked about it at the callback for the sleepaway camp. They said you'll have to wear a mask. A boy will have to wear a mask. Yeah. So.
Yeah, because it's an act. It's an actor wearing your face. Yes. Yeah. Well, Felissa, it's been great catching up. I love you too.
Thank you so much.
Everybody, run the applause for Felissa Rose. What table number?
Next to PJ Soul.
Next to PJ Soul.
Thank you so much.